It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
What's God? 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 These guys know sports. Yeah. These guys know sports. These guys know.
And welcome to Wise Guys. These guys know sports on this Friday, July 24th on the Worldwide Sports Network. Here with my co-host, Mr. Clarence Dixon. What's up, Clarence?
Hey, man. How you doing today, man? How you doing today?
It's Friday. Happy Friday. So I'm feeling real good.
I really want to go get a drink for real, man. That's how I'm feeling today on this Friday, man. Feeling relaxation, man.
You're gonna need a drink after I give you this beat down on Wise Guys.
Oh,
You're gonna need a beat down. You're gonna need a drink for sure. Everybody remember go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H, also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. We are live here on the Worldwide Sports Network. So we got an action jam-packed show. We're gonna talk about Steve Young stating that Jimmy Garoppolo is not trusted by Kyle Shanahan. Also, we're going to talk about Colin Cowherd. He said that Kawhi Leonard, if he wins another championship this year, he will be in the all-time top 5 in the NBA on the all-time greats list. But we got to start off in the NBA, Clarence. As LeBron James, he had a powerful press conference after yesterday's scrimmage against the Dallas Mavericks. One of the things that LeBron talked about, he talked about how the officers who killed Breonna Taylor should be arrested, and we want justice for Breonna Taylor. He talked about how the Black Lives Matter is not a movement, it's a lifestyle. So my question for you is, as we open up the show, what was your biggest takeaway from LeBron James' press conference yesterday?
I felt every word that LeBron James said yesterday, and what he said yesterday was powerful, and he's 100% true. Like, this is not no movement. This is a lifestyle for us Black people to get like social rights in this country, in the United States of America. I ain't gonna lie, I had to watch that like 3 or 4 times because he was representing like black people, like black LA Lakers shirt, and like the game didn't matter. He wanted justice for Breonna Taylor. We want justice too. Like me and you, we want justice for Breonna Taylor. You know, it's crazy that this sick crime happened, and I'm glad that like a top leader like LeBron James spoke up. He spoke up and said they want justice too. Like, the whole NBA want justice for that. Like, and I hope the state of Kentucky, like, they found them police officer guilty for this crazy, disgusting murder.
Yeah, when it comes to LeBron James, though, as a public speaker and somebody that I really got a lot of respect for, when LeBron James speaks, I listen because I believe this brother is very educated and he is very woke on what's going on out here in society, and he's definitely, you know, up on the issues that we are dealing with in the African American communities. I completely agree with LeBron James about the Black Lives Matter not being a movement, it's a lifestyle. This is something that we are trying to get people to understand. We want, primarily the Caucasians of our country, want them to understand that this is something that we're serious about. And I feel like for the first time in American history, Clarence, that we actually got their attention right now. We actually got their attention. And I believe we have to capitalize on what's taking place in our country. And one of the things that I have felt since the whole, you know, social injustice movement has started and everything, one of the things that I felt strong about is you have to be anti-racist. Like, you can't be, you know, you can't straddle the fence. You can't say, hey, I'm not racist, so I don't really get involved in other racial activities, or I don't comment on racial activities because I'm not a racist. No, that's not enough. You have to be an anti-racist. And so right now, that's one of the things that I feel like we need to really, really basically come get a clear-cut understanding, pinpoint those individuals who are racist, so we can call them to the forefront, whether it be people on the police force, whether it's politicians, whether it's athletes, whoever it is. I believe we, if it's somebody in the entertainment industry as well, we need to call those individuals out to the forefront who are racist or have had any kind of, racist situation that they were involved in, that they might have started, and so forth. So I think right now we're at a time and age where you have to be anti-racism. And like I said, when it comes to LeBron James, when LeBron James speaks, I listen. He's one of the most powerful Black African Americans we have, in our country. And I stand with LeBron for justice for Breonna Taylor. We talked about Breonna Taylor on our show a few months ago, Clarence, and how we feel like she deserves justice. There is no way in hell that we think that it should be okay for 3 officers to be walking around here scot-free after they went into Breonna Taylor's home unannounced, and they went to the wrong home and they killed an innocent Black woman in her home. And she had such an aspiring future and such a promising future. It's just sad. And I'm glad LeBron James and other NBA players are speaking out for Breonna Taylor and about the justices that we want for this particular situation.
Yes, definitely. Everybody go follow Wise Guys on Facebook and Instagram. These Guys Know Sports, and Twitter one is Wise Guys _OH. We are here live on a Worldwide Sports Radio Network. And the thing about that powerful speech from LeBron James is, like, he wants everybody to understand that this is a move, this is a lifestyle for us Black folks, and everybody's against it. Like it's time to speak up. It's time to speak up. It's time to, put the racism alive. And Breonna Taylor, she just needs justice.
Yeah, for sure. And the NBA, they had some slogans that they are going to be allowing players to wear on the back of their jerseys. And LeBron James, he chose not to wear a slogan on the back of his jersey. So I want to get your opinion on that. What do you make of LeBron choosing to decline the option of wearing a slogan on the back of his jersey?
I think he wants like to tell people. In my opinion, I feel like he want them to know like this is not a movement. Like, we're not about to brand off of this, or brand off of that. Like, this is something that's going on in the United States, like in America. Like, this is going on in America. We're dealing with police brutality and racism. Like, it's a lot that we're dealing with, and putting information on the jersey is not going to like solve anything. It's gonna take a lot, like, for this movement to expand.
Yeah, for certain. And I think for what LeBron James has meant to the African American community and what he's represented, I don't think he needs to have a slogan on the back of his jersey for us to understand the impact that LeBron James has had on our community. I remember back when he was with the Miami Heat, when the Trayvon Martin situation went down in Florida. Him, D-Wade, Chris Bosh, a bunch of other Miami Heat players, they wore shirts in support of Trayvon Martin. I also believe with the situation that happened in New York with Eric Garner, that I Cannot Breathe, I think they also wore shirts as well when we went through that situation in America. So I think LeBron James has done numerous things for the African American community, and I believe he's done so much as far as being able to put his money where his mouth is. Like, make no mistake about it, LeBron James invests in his community. Look at the school that he built in Akron, the I Promise School for all the kids out there in Akron. So he has done numerous of things in the African American community to show his support and show that he is definitely for social, in support of us for us getting social injustices changed in our country overall. So I don't think a slogan on the back of LeBron James jersey is gonna make us look at LeBron James in any more significant way than we already view him, because he's already done so much for our community overall.
Yeah. LeBron James, what he's doing in the NBA right now is brilliant, and he's keeping it up, and he's one of the most activist players in the NBA. But Trey, I would love to keep getting this topic, but we definitely got to move on, man. So early on First Take, Max Kellerman and Marcus Spears, they listed their top 5 NFL postseason quarterbacks of the last decade. So I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you go first. So give me your top five quarterback of the last decade in the postseason.
Okay, real quick, just so we clear, Pro Football Focus, they put out their best playoff quarterbacks of the decade list. Let's name let's name their list first before we get into ours. This is Pro Football Focus best quarterbacks of the decade in the playoffs. This is their list. Russell Wilson at 5 with an 88.5 rating. Eli Manning with an 89.8 playoff rating. Nick Foles with a 90.3 playoff rating. Pat Mahomes with a 90.3 playoff rating. And Aaron Rodgers, the great Aaron Rodgers, 91.9 playoff rating. So let's get into my list. And before I even get into my list, first of all, I want to critique this list real quick. First of all, Clarence, when I look at this list, where the hell is Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Where the hell? I see Nick Foles, who had one magical playoff run. I see Eli Manning, who in this decade had one magical playoff run. In his career, Eli had 2 magical playoff runs, though, but he only had one in this decade. I don't even see Tom Brady. Like, what the hell is going on here? No Tom Brady? Like, no Drew Brees? I'm talking about Pro Football. I'm talking about Pro Football Focus. Like, that's my 2 main issues with their list. No Drew Brees and no Tom Brady. But let me get to my list. I'm going to give you my list. You ready for this?
I want to hear your list, man.
Okay. These are my top 5 NFL postseason quarterbacks of the decade. Starting off with number 5. Might surprise you here, but I'm not sure. Big Ben Roethlisberger. 30 touchdowns, 24 interceptions, over 5,000 passing yards, completing 62% of his passes, 13-8 record in the playoffs. Number 4, Russell Wilson. 23 touchdowns, just 11 interceptions, over 3,000 passing yards, completed 63% of his passes in the postseason with a 9-6 record. Drew Brees is my 3rd quarterback on my postseason quarterbacks of our decade list. Drew Brees has 34 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, close to 5,000 passing yards, completed 67% of his passes in the playoffs, and he has an 8-8 record. The great Aaron Rodgers is number 2 on my NFL postseason quarterbacks of the decade list. 40 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, over 5,000 passing yards, completed 64% of his passes with 11-8 playoff record. And number 1 is the GOAT, Tom Brady. 73 touchdowns, 35 interceptions, over 11,000 passing yards, 63 completion percentage, 30-11 record. What more is there's left to say? Tom Brady's statistics speak for itself in the playoffs, and his rings speak volumes as to why he is the best quarterback of the decade in the postseason. That's my list. Big Ben, Russell Wilson at 4, Drew Brees at 3, Aaron Rodgers 2, Tom Brady at 1. And let me give you my honorable mentions real quick. Honorable mention is Eli Manning and Peyton Manning. But Peyton Manning wasn't that good in the playoffs, Clarence. As great as he was in the regular season, he wasn't very good in the playoffs. He was 14-13 in the playoffs, 40 touchdowns or 25 interceptions, but he was terrible in the postseason. That's why I think Aaron, Drew Brees, and Russell Wilson, Tom Brady ultimately are greater quarterbacks than Peyton Manning will be once their careers are finally done, because he wasn't very good in the playoffs. You got the floor. What's your list?
I can't believe I had to listen to that list. Woo. All right, let me give you my list, man. In my opinion,
Start at 5.
Start at 5. And don't be surprised. Number 5, Russell Wilson. Okay. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers. Number 3, Eli Manning.
Oh!
Number 2, Patrick Mahomes.
What?
Number 1, Tom Brady.
What?
Definitely.
Wait. Do you got the honorable mentions?
Oh, the honorable mentions is Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, and
Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers.
But he wasn't that good in the playoffs. He
was solid. He got playoff wins.
He got playoff wins, but he always lost to Tom Brady in the playoffs every year. Yeah. But wait a minute. Wait. Hold the hell up. Because Eli Manning was on my honorable mentions list. He didn't make my top 5. There is no way in hell I'm going to pick Eli over Big Ben or Russell Wilson. Like, I'm not picking Eli over Big Ben and Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson and Big Ben are both better than Eli Manning. Listen, Eli Manning had one of the best defensive lines in NFL history on both of his postseason runs to the Super Bowl.
He beat your favorite quarterback.
Wait a minute, Clarence. Eli Manning led the league in interceptions. I believe it was like 3 times in his career. Eli Manning, I'll give him his credit. In the postseason, he's 8-4, 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. And by the way, Eli Manning broke my heart twice in the playoffs because he beat Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers in the postseason at Lambeau. So he broke my heart twice in the playoffs. But do I believe that Eli Manning is better than Russell Wilson or Big Ben Roethlisberger? I do not. So wait. You got Aaron Rodgers on your list? I mean,
I got Aaron Rodgers on my list.
No, do you got Drew Brees on your list?
Oh, hell no.
What? Oh.
No.
You think Eli Manning is more clutch than Drew Brees?
Definitely.
How?
Eli Manning is more clutch than Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson on my list. That's why he's ranked higher than them 2 guys right there. But I'm gonna tell you why Eli is more clutch. Because all them games in the playoffs, he was on the road, right? He was on the road playing these games and terrible weather with the I can't even imagine with the doubts all over them. Like he had like everything against him. Doubts, the weather and the team advantage, but he propelled and led this team, right? He led this team. And
he had some clutch moments.
2 times.
He did. He had some clutch moments in his career. Won 2 Super Bowl championships. But his overall career record as a quarterback is 500. He's not very good. The only reason that we talk about Eli Manning being in a great conversation is because of his last name. If it wasn't for him being Archie Manning's son and Peyton Manning's brother, we wouldn't talk about Eli Manning the way we talk about some of these other quarterbacks.
Funny. Or their dad, Archie Manning, he never went to the playoffs. He can't even smell playoffs. He don't even know what playoffs is in his mindset. Look, I'm telling you this. Eli Manning was probably one of the best underdog quarterbacks in that decade. He's definitely well mentioned in the top 5 when you mention the postseason runs, man. Let me
ask you a question. How in the hell are you going to say Eli Manning is better in the postseason than Drew Brees when Drew Brees had his team in position to get back to the Super Bowl twice? You remember against Minnesota. They could have beat Minnesota, but if it wasn't for Stephon Diggs and the Minneapolis Miracle, Drew Brees would have had an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl, or at least get to the NFC Championship game. Because you remember the next week, the Eagles beat the Vikings. But but hold on, Drew Brees would have had an opportunity to play the NFC Championship game, and you remember exactly what happened in the 2018 NFC Championship game. They blew that non-call that was a pass interference. Clarence, me and you could have called pass interference. Huh?
Oh, but you got to think about it. Don't forget, after that blown call, Drew Brees and them had another opportunity to win the game again. And guess what? The next few plays later, he threw an interception. Drew Brees and them did not have Drew Brees and them, they brought a Super Bowl. Yeah, that was almost 11 years ago, Trey. Almost 11 years ago. He doesn't have luck in the playoffs. The thing about Drew Brees, that the opponent always outshine him. He's not the same Brees no more as when he was going for his first Super Bowl. That's why he's not in my top 5. He's not in my top 5. Eli Manning, every time when he went to the playoffs, he showed up and he had a better performance than Drew Brees.
I thought about putting Eli in my top 5 because we just talking about playoffs. That's all we're talking about. Nothing else. Just playoffs. I just don't feel comfortable on any all-time greats list putting Eli Manning above Russell Wilson or Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers or any of them. I just don't feel comfortable doing it.
I mean, you got to think about it. Aaron Rodgers should really be number 5, but his talent in the playoffs is like you can't even forget about. But Russell Wilson,
Who you got at 5?
Russell Wilson. The thing
Aaron has played better than Russell Wilson in the playoffs.
Russell Wilson, look, he carried his whole team there. He carried his team there into the playoffs. So that's something that you can't ignore. That's something.
Hold on. Let's talk about that. I believe Russell Wilson had a better supporting cast than Aaron Rodgers in the early part of his career. It's changed. I think Aaron Rodgers has a better supporting cast now. Aaron Rodgers got Devontae Adams. Russell Wilson doesn't have Devontae Adams on his team.
But he had a Jordy Nelson at the time when he won a Super Bowl, Trey.
That's not my argument. What I'm saying is I think they roles have kind of reversed. I think in the early part of Russell Wilson's career, Russell Wilson had the better supporting cast than Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson had the Legion of Boom to rely on, especially like on the defensive side of the ball. And he also had beast mode to hand the football off to. When I used to think about the Seattle Seahawks, when they was going to the Super Bowl, I was thinking about LOB. Then I was thinking about Pete Carroll. Then I thought about beast mode. And then I got to Russell Wilson. Kind of similar to Jimmy G and the 49ers. We're going to talk about them here in a little bit. I was thinking about at least 2 or 3 levels before I got to Russell Wilson. But over the last 3-4 years, Russell Wilson is an elite quarterback. And he's one of the best quarterbacks that we have in the NFL. Top 2 as far as I'm concerned. But I'm just saying at first, I felt like he had a better support system than Aaron Rodgers did. Now I think Aaron Rodgers got a little bit of a better support system.
Think about it afterwards, though. When the Legion of Boom separated and they had a complete new team, Russell Wilson was still leading that team to the playoffs. Like I think, look, the talent is there. The talent was there for him, and his team, his supporting cast, they wasn't the best. The defense, I still believe, is not one of the best because the secondary, it's like a nightmare there. But Russell Wilson kept pushing. At a point in time, he was the leading rusher for his team. And let's be honest, he never had a good offensive lineman around him that he can.
He did.
That he can really protect them because he averaged about like 4 or 5 sacks last year in the season, and his fumbling he fumbled pretty bad in the season, but he still showed up and carried his team, man. And
but let me ask you a question. You said Aaron Rodgers should be maybe 5. Did you not know that Aaron Rodgers has never scored less than 20 points in any playoff game in his career ever? Aaron Rodgers has never scored less than 20 points in any playoff game in his career. And let's not forget, throughout the years, even though my Packers was making the playoffs, our defense got shredded in the postseason, Clarence. Oh, come on now. Our defense was getting shredded, and Aaron was keeping us in games. And one more thing I want to say. I got Drew Brees at 3 and Russell Wilson at 4. I'm going to say one more thing, and we can move on to the next topic. It's amazing because if Pete Carroll, and I think it was Darrell Bevell, he was the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, if they would have handed the ball off to Marshawn Lynch, Russell Wilson would have 2 Super Bowl rings on his resume, and I would put him above Drew Brees. And I think you would. I wouldn't have him above Aaron, but I think I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't because I'm thinking about
Super Bowl, back-to-back Super Bowls. Yeah, he would have been definitely above it.
No, because at that time when he was winning Super Bowls, they weren't winning because of Russell Wilson. They was winning because of LOB and Marshawn Lynch. When Aaron Rodgers won his one Super Bowl, we won because of Aaron Rodgers. But I think he would definitely be above Drew Brees. But they didn't hand the ball to Marshawn, and we know the rest of that story.
You can literally put Aaron Rodgers, Eli Manning, Patrick Mahomes, Peyton Manning all over Drew Brees, man. That's how I feel about Brees.
That's one more thing I want to ask. I want to go to the next topic so bad, but I got to ask you one more question. How in the hell you got Patrick Mahomes on your top 5 of the decade quarterbacks list? Really?
Why? Yeah, definitely. Let me tell you this.
What is it? He's not as proven as these other quarterbacks?
Yes, he is. He's definitely proven. At a young age, Patrick Mahomes is up there with the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady's, and Drew Brees. I believe he's significantly better than Drew Brees just because his arm talent is better. And for Aaron Rodgers, he's like the prototype for better. He did it in a young span. And if you look at last year in the playoffs, he definitely carried that Chiefs team into the Super Bowl, even led them to take over and win the Super Bowl. Like that you got to put into matter right there, Trey. That's why he's my number 2. That comeback against the Texans, 7 straight touchdowns. You kidding me? You going to ignore that? I am not ignoring that.
I'm not taking nothing away from Patrick Mahomes. In his young career, he has balled out in the playoffs. Remember back in 2018 in the AFC Championship game, if it wasn't for D4 going off sides, the Chiefs would have been in the Super Bowl. And obviously he won the Super Bowl last year. But I'm looking at body of work. And I think Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, they got more of a body of work than Patrick Mahomes. I'm not even ready to say Patrick Mahomes is better than. Well, nah. You know, I'm gonna say I'm gonna
He's
go
better than Drew Brees.
I was gonna say Peyton. I was talking about Peyton Manning. I would say Patrick Mahomes. As crazy as it sounds, in his 2 postseason, starts so far in his career, I would say he's been better in the playoffs than I've seen in Peyton Manning. Like Peyton Manning was bad in the playoffs.
14 playoff wins. You can't ignore that, man. 14 playoff.
Peyton Manning was 14 and 13 in the playoffs, but he was
Two
not very
Super
good.
Bowls.
He wasn't very good. That second Super Bowl clearance, he was a liability. But we got to move on. On. Let's get back to some NBA. James Harden compared himself to Allen Iverson. I quote James Harden. He was on Instagram Live. He was talking to AI, and he said, everything I'm going through right now is what Iverson went through, just a newer version. He was comparing himself to Allen Iverson. So my question for you is, does Harden have a point here?
Well, I think for James Harden, the comparison he's trying to compare to AI is that he dealt with a lot of criticism against his game, against his ego, and against his playoff performances. And I think for Harden, what he's trying to let everybody understand is that he's dealing with all that hate and hatred against him, and people believe that Harden is not capable of leading the team to a championship. Many thought about that about AI. People didn't think he could lead them to a championship, but then 2001, he won. It was his MVP year, and he went to the finals, took them to the finals, and played against that powerhouse Lakers team.
Kobe
and
shot.
won one game. He won at least one game in that series, and I think that was impressive against that Lakers team. But for James Harden, his playoff performances compared to AI is not like it's not good. It's not good in my opinion, because I think that he's capable of leading his team. I mean, he averaged about almost 7 assists per game and 6 rebounds. He's involved with the team, but his killer instinct, you really question that, because what if teams need you the most? And hear me out, he is a clutch player, because I see him hit a lot of clutch shots. I see James Harden hit a lot of clutch shots, but in the postseason, I haven't. And I think he still got something to prove. And he's in his 11th season in the NBA.
Wait. I have a question. You say he's a clutch player, but you haven't seen him hit clutch shots in the postseason. So how is he clutch?
Because look, I give you an example. Against the Golden State Warriors, he was the only one that was scoring for that team, and he carried that team to a victory. That was in the season. But for James Harden in his playoffs, I think his problem is lack of leadership. It's just a lack of leadership towards this team. Like, he has all the talent in the world, but the leadership is not there.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead. You almost
you got it, man.
Okay, let me break this down for you. Okay?
Yep.
I understand where James Harden is coming from, because I think what he's talking about is him and Allen Iverson's play style being similar from the standpoint of, as a team, you have to build your team around their skill set, because Allen Iverson and James Harden are two of the most gifted scorers in NBA history. Make no mistake about it. James Harden and Allen Iverson can put the ball in the bucket, and they are great players with the basketball at being able to score. They can create their own shot off the dribble. They can also get to the rim and be creative around the rim and finish at the free throw line as well, make their free throw shots. James Harden's a better perimeter shooter than AI ever was, but AI was a fierce competitor. I mean, Allen Iverson in his career, 11-time All-Star, 2-time All-Star Game MVP, 2000 NBA MVP, 4-time scoring champion. He averaged 27 points per game clearance on 43% shooting in his career. And this was he was only 6 feet soaking wet. I mean, Allen Iverson was going in the paint and being creative around trees and still putting up buckets. Him getting that 2000 Philadelphia 76ers team to the finals was an amazing accomplishment, because that team had no business being in the same gym with Kobe and Shaq's Lakers. I mean, if you take Allen Iverson off that team, they're not even a playoff team. I mean, they're not. But listen, also, Allen Iverson, he changed the NBA culture as well, bringing that hip-hop swag to the league. Like, what I think Michael Vick did for the NFL, that's what Allen Iverson did for the NBA, bringing that hip-hop swag and wearing those big jerseys and wearing the chains to the press conferences. It was amazing what he brought to the table during his career. But you look at James Harden on his career, 2018 NBA MVP, although I think LeBron James should have won MVP that year, they robbed LeBron because he carried the Cleveland Cavaliers that season. And then the following year, last year, Giannis won MVP. I think James Harden should have won MVP last year. So James Harden won MVP one year, and I thought he should have lost it. And the following year, he lost it, and I thought he should have won it. 8-time All-Star, 5-time NBA first-team player. He won the NBA Sixth Man of the Year award. I believe it was in 2012. You know, he averaged 25 points per game on his career on 44% shooting. Obviously, both of these players are tremendous scorers. But here's why I think they different at. And I think we're talking about perception. Allen Iverson was a straight killer on the court. Straight killer. And he never apologized for it. I never saw a moment where I felt like Allen Iverson shrunk when the lights was at its brightest. He might have missed some shots, but I've never felt like Allen Iverson was shrinking or he was just choking. I never, ever said, hey, I choked. He missed some shots, but that's not choking. James Harden, meanwhile, has had countless moments in his career where he's came up small in the NBA playoffs. Let me give you some of these situations and these circumstances where he came up small. I remember in the 2012 NBA Finals against LeBron James and the Miami Heat, when Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook was on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Kevin Durant showed up. He averaged close to 30 points per game in that NBA Finals. Russell Westbrook played pretty well as well. James Harden played terrible in that NBA Finals. Then I remember 2017 NBA playoffs. I know you're going to remember this, Clarence. Game 6, going up against the San Antonio Spurs without Kawhi Leonard. James Harden goes 2 of 11 shooting from the floor, just 10 points. He was a minus 28 on the floor. And I got one more for you. In the 2019 NBA playoffs against the Golden State Warriors without Kevin Durant. You remember Kevin Durant got injured in that series.
Yeah.
James Harden could not close the deal against the Warriors, who didn't even have Kevin Durant. They had a chance to push the series, I think, back to 7 games and back to Golden State. And they got beat down in the second half of Game 6 in H-Town in James Harden's house. Steph Curry went ballistic in the second half. There has been countless moments in James Harden's career where he has came up small. I have never seen Allen Iverson come up small in the playoffs. Therefore, I think it's a difference when you're comparing these two players.
Yeah. Before we move on, that was a great speech from you, Mr. Larkins. Before we move on, everybody, let's go follow Wise Guys on Facebook and Instagram. These guys know sports, and Twitter, Wise Guys _08. And we are still live on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Now,
hold on, Clarence. Hold on. Do you have anything else you want to say about this? Because I had one more thing. But you got anything else?
What's the last more thing, brother?
I think sometimes when it comes to perception, NBA fans and media, they don't like the fact that James Harden, his play style, and how he's always trying to create fouls and get to the free throw line, and he wants the refs to assist him and being able to get his points. I don't think fans necessarily like his play style. Meanwhile, Allen Iverson, he came right at you. AI coming at you. Downhill, 24/7, all 48 minutes of the game. AI was coming at you full speed. He didn't let up. I think fans and NBA media members, they favor AI more over James Harden when it comes to perception, because AI came at you 24/7 compared to James Harden, who's always looking for a foul and looking to get to the free throw line and look for some assistance from the referees. To that, you say what? You agree with that or disagree?
Yeah, I think for James Harden, he don't have that killer instinct that AI had that he brought to the table. And that's something that he needs to prove this season. If he can, that he got that killer instinct, he can lead this Rockets team.
For sure. Everybody remember, go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. Live on the Worldwide Sports Network. Let's move on, Clarence, to the next topic. Let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers. We got some problems brewing in the Bay. Hall of Fame quarterback Steve Young stated that Jimmy lost his trust with head coach Kyle Shanahan. So the question here is, do you believe Kyle Shanahan trusts Jimmy G?
Man, I think that's the other way around, man. Do Jimmy G trust Kyle Shanahan? Because it's been numerous of times Shanahan has choked in the big moments. And when the coach choked, it takes the confidence away from the players. And the players have to overcome that moment to show off their greatness.
You say Kyle Shanahan choked?
I mean, let me tell you, remember the remember the comeback against the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and this last Super Bowl right here when he let Patrick Mahomes come back with under 6-7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I think like Kyle Shanahan, like that's his big question is where's your execution? But we can get back to the main question. I think.
So hold on real quick. He did choke when he was the coordinator for the Falcons. I'm not so sure I would say he choked in the Super Bowl. I don't know. Continue. Go ahead. We'll get
I think he choked. I think he choked, man, because you had the number one best defense in the NFL, a great pass rush, a good 4-man pass rush at that could get to the quarterback, and they didn't get no pressure on Mahomes. They let Mahomes play his game and show his talent, where his arm talent. And I think that was on the coach mental right there. Like you didn't coach him up to get it stopped or nothing.
I think they had some questionable play calling down the stretch of the Super Bowl, but I wouldn't necessarily say he choked. I think he did choke when he was the coordinator for the Falcons. But I wouldn't say he choked. I think it was more Jimmy G. But go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, but for Jimmy G though, now we can transition to Jimmy G. Jimmy G was, when he came in, he was what 5-2 with 7 starts, and he showed some promises with Shanahan, like throughout the couple of years, 3-14, 4-12 in the recent years. Now, last year they was 13-3, so they had a lot of progression. And for Jimmy G, he threw almost 69% of completion, almost 4,000 pass yards, with not a good touchdown interception ratio, 27-13, and plus he was sacked 36 times. So, do I really trust Jimmy G leading this team? It's kind of scared me because you want to figure out, do he have that killer instinct, and what can you bring out more out of him? Because I think he have more in him. And for Kyle Shanahan to be the coach, he has to bring out that greatest strength against Jimmy G, man.
Yeah, I don't believe Kyle Shanahan believes in Jimmy G. My question for you would be a rhetorical question. Would you? I what has Jimmy G proven to be trusted? Like last year in the Super Bowl, you said last year in the Super Bowl, you think Kyle Shanahan choked. I think Jimmy Garoppolo choked. He went 20 of 31, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, completed 65% of his passes. But if you remember, there was a key play late in that Super Bowl. He missed a wide open Emmanuel Sanders with the game on the line. I know you remember that play. If he hit Emmanuel Sanders in stride, the 49ers win the Super Bowl. I'm going to give you some quarterbacks who I believe would have gotten it done in the Super Bowl with a 10-point lead with over 8 minutes left to go. You ready for this?
Yeah.
We ain't even talking about elite. Well, one of these players I'm going to name is elite, but not all of them. Dak Prescott would have gotten it done. He would have got it done. Matthew Stafford would have gotten it done.
Man, I don't know.
I think so. Let's continue. Carson Wentz would have gotten it done. Yes. I got another one for you. You're gonna be shocked off this one. You might jump out your chair on this one. Because I don't know what I'm gonna see from him this year. But I like this kid. Kyler Murray would have gotten it done. I don't think he would have shrank and folded. And we know Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes goes without saying. Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, we don't even got to talk about them. But I think those young quarterbacks, Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, maybe even Kyler Murray, and also the veteran quarterback in Matthew Stafford, they all would have gotten it done if they had a 10-point lead with 8 minutes left in the Super Bowl. Now, let me give you some of his statistical numbers last year. Jimmy Garoppolo, 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, close to 4,000 passing yards, completing 69% of his passes. That was impressive last year. But do I think they can actually win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo? I'm actually going to say yes. And here's why. Jimmy Garoppolo is no scrub. Last year, he was 12th overall in total QBR. And he has a lifetime record as 23-5 as a quarterback. They went 5-0 in his first year. And then he got hurt, and they went 3-13. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is average. If you can be an average quarterback and have an elite defense and make big plays on third down, I think you can win a Super Bowl with that type of quarterback. He's not clutch, but if he can learn how to make plays in the clutch, I think he can be a slightly above average quarterback. That's his ceiling for me. So I'm looking at win the Super Bowl.
But I'm looking at the schedule right now. They open the season at home against the Arizona Cardinals, which I think is a tough one. And they got, 5 primetime games at home against the Eagles, which I think that's going to be a big challenge, but I think they can overcome. And a Sunday night against a division rival is the Los Angeles Rams. Them games always tough. The Rams and 49ers always have one. And a Thursday night game against your Green Bay Packers. Your Green Bay Packers, Trey.
And we want revenge. We want revenge.
It's in the Bay. It's in the Bay Area.
Hey, but is it in San Francisco? That game?
Yeah.
They traumatized me. I don't want to play them in the Bay.
And then they got a Monday night football game against Buffalo and a Sunday night against the Cowboys. So I'm looking at this schedule. This schedule is probably the toughest schedule that they probably gonna go through because they playing a lot of playoff teams and a lot of potential teams at that. And when I think do I believe Jimmy Garoppolo can lead them to a Super Bowl? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I think he don't have that it factor or that game-changing ability to change the game in a football game. I just believe that he's a very limited quarterback that can give you so much, but he won't give you the execution. Like he won't give you the execution to win, man. I just don't believe that.
See, I don't believe in Jimmy Garoppolo to ever be an elite quarterback, but I think he could be an average or slightly above average quarterback. And I think if he can make big plays on third down, that's all you got to do. You got an elite defense. You have an elite defense. So hold on, if you can hold teams under 20 points, and they had the Chiefs under 20 points with 8 minutes left to go in the Super Bowl. If you can hold teams under 20 points and you can establish a nice running game, I think you can win a Super Bowl with Jimmy G.
Nah, but elite players make elite plays, man. And the players that makes those plays are elite. They are elite.
But let me ask you a question. When Russell Wilson was winning Super Bowls with the Seattle Seahawks, when Legion of Boom was there, were they winning Super Bowls because Russell Wilson was elite? No.
Yes.
Russell Wilson was big. No. Russell Wilson was big on third down. Russell Wilson was big on third down. And dare I say, Russell Wilson was a game manager. At one point in his career, he was a game manager, Clarence. But he ain't always been elite.
Think about it. He led his team. He beat your Packers team to advance in the Super Bowl. He beat your Packers team. He led them. You remember that deep throw to Jermaine Kearse? That was right on the money. You know who did that? Russell Wilson. He showed that his comeback and that he can show it. He led the Seattle Seahawks team. People don't never mention that because the Legion of Boom was very destructive and it was a dominant defensive team. But Russell Wilson led them in the playoffs to Super Bowl, man. I don't understand why people are blind to that. I don't understand.
I'm not saying that Russell Wilson wasn't. He's a game manager to me at that point. He wasn't elite just yet. But what I'm saying is, I think you can be an average or slightly above average quarterback and lead your team to a Super Bowl and win. If you have a great defense and you can run the football effectively, you got to be able to have those two things. And you also got to have a good head coach. But if you can play great defense and run the football effectively, you can win a Super Bowl. Guess who else isn't elite? And he got a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco has never been elite, ever. Like, he got hot that one year in Ray Lewis last year when he was in the NFL. He got hot and led the Ravens to a Super Bowl. But they had a great defense. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Jimmy G.
Believe it or not, never. When he led him to the Super Bowl, he was having a phenomenal postseason. So he didn't throw no interceptions. What 21 touchdowns? Yeah, Joe Flacco was having a monster.
Right, but we ain't seen Joe Flacco ain't did nothing since. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm not saying Jimmy Garoppolo would ever be elite. Never. Don't ever mention elite and Jimmy Garoppolo in the same sentence because it's not going to happen. But I believe that Jimmy Garoppolo, being an average or slightly above average quarterback, if he can learn to make plays on third down and they can have an effective running game and nice system in place with Kyle Shanahan calling the plays and an elite defense, I think the 49ers can win a Super Bowl. If that defense falls off and they're not able to make plays and they're not elite, he won't get it done. He has to have everything around him go right for him to be able to have a chance at winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah. One last thing before we move on to the next one. I truly believe that the NFC West is going to be competitive as it was throughout the 2 year span that the Niners and Seahawks dominated. But I think that's going to be more competitive. Cardinals are going to be involved. The Rams are trying to make a comeback. and I believe we all know Seattle is gonna be in the top. So it's gonna be very interesting to watch. It's gonna be something to watch.
Certainly. I'm not sure how much time we got left. We're gonna get a few more minutes to be able to talk about Kawhi Leonard. But everybody remember, go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. We're live here on the Worldwide Sports Network. I want to know how much more time we got left because I want to talk about Kawhi Leonard, man. I was listening to Colin Cowherd, Clarence, on Fox Sports.
Yeah.
He was talking about if Kawhi Leonard wins an NBA championship, he said that he believes that Kawhi Leonard would then be in the top 5 NBA players of all time. This was Colin Cowherd on the Herd on FS1. So my question for you is, as we get back to some NBA, would another championship solidify Kawhi Leonard and being one of the top 5 players in the NBA?
I think that extra NBA Finals championship, it will make him LeBron's greatest like competitor against him instead of KD. What? Hear me out. If Kawhi Leonard wins the NBA Finals, I think he will be LeBron James' biggest threat in the NBA. It won't be Kevin Durant no more. It wouldn't be Kevin Durant until he's proven he can lead the Brooklyn Nets to an NBA Finals and win the championship. But if Kawhi Leonard wins the NBA Finals, he will be LeBron James' biggest threat in the NBA. I already think Kawhi Leonard is a top 2 player in the league right now. It's Bron and Kawhi, because them top guys right there, they're dominant. They're just
No. Hold on, Clarence. We're talking about all time. Colin Cowherd, he said if Kawhi Leonard wins another NBA Finals and he's the Finals MVP, that he would elevate Kawhi Leonard to be in his top 5 players of all time. To that you say what?
I think I get from his point of view, if you beat LeBron James a second time, then you can really consider yourself better than him. You consider yourself better than him.
What?
And you can, like, look, from Colin's point of view, and we know LeBron James is a top 5 player. And Kawhi Leonard, he's not on his level yet, but he is biggest threat in the NBA right now. But top 5, I think it's ridiculous right now. I want to say that even if he won a title, he still has something to prove. Now, I don't agree with him.
Well, right now, to be honest, I don't agree with you either. I don't agree with Colin. I don't agree with you. I think both of y'all are ludicrous. So let me say real quick. I disagree.
Kawhi is definitely LeBron's biggest threat in the NBA.
No, we'll find out. But that was the second part of his question. The first part is, if he wins another championship and he's the Finals MVP, would he be a top 5 all-time NBA player? And the emphatic answer is hell no. Like, stop, Colin. I wish Colin could come on Wise Guys, man, on the Worldwide Sports Network, because these statements that he just stated on the Herd, he really, really needs to have his basketball IQ in question here. Like, we really got to start asking these dudes, like, what are you watching when you turn the TV on? Kawhi Leonard is great. He's the best 2-way player we have in the NBA. He's the best player who I would say if I need a bucket and a stop, I'm picking Kawhi Leonard. But another championship or another Finals MVP would not make Kawhi Leonard elevate to the top 5 NBA all-time greatest players. I'm not putting Kawhi Leonard above Kobe, Shaq, Tim Duncan, Wilt, Kevin Durant, Kareem, or LeBron James. It's more. I can go on.
He might be better than KD. He might be better than KD.
No, he's not going to be better than Kevin Durant. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But let me tell you why he won't be in the top 5 NBA all-time greatest players. His rings. Let me tell you why. His rings are more valuable than Kevin Durant. Like, his rings that he would have won, they would have been more valuable than Kevin Durant's rings with the Golden State Warriors. But Kevin Durant dominated the NBA over a longer length of time than Kawhi Leonard. Guess what else Kevin Durant has on his resume that Kawhi Leonard doesn't have? That's an NBA MVP. Kevin Durant has been one of the top 5 best players in the league for a longer period than Kawhi Leonard has. And also, let's not forget, last year, the Golden State Warriors would have won the NBA championship if it wasn't for Klay Thompson getting hurt in Game 6.
I
The Warriors,
disagree.
I don't. I think if Kevin Durant, if Klay Thompson didn't get injured, they were already winning Game 6. I think the Warriors would have pushed the Raptors back to Toronto, and it would have went Game 7. And I'm taking the Splash Brothers over Kawhi in the Game 7. But Klay got hurt. If Kevin Durant wouldn't have gotten injured, would the Raptors have won last year?
Yeah, if Kevin Durant didn't get injured, the Warriors was winning that. But when Klay Thompson got injured, that they was gonna still lose regardless.
So another thing is, obviously, Kawhi Leonard doesn't have a regular season MVP on his resume. MJ has a regular season MVP. LeBron has a regular season MVP. Kevin Durant has a regular season MVP. Tim Duncan has a regular season MVP. And Shaq has a regular season MVP. So many players have regular season MVPs. And I remember I told you this a few months ago when we talked about Kawhi Leonard. When I'm looking at NBA all-time greats, something that I'm going to look at when Kawhi Leonard's career is all said and done, I'm looking at load management. One of the reasons why we love Kobe, love Jordan, love LeBron, is because they showed up night in and night out, and they gave you great elite basketball. As a paying customer, if I'm taking Trey Miller to see a game, I want to see the superstars show up and show out. It's too many times throughout the regular season clearance where I've seen load management next to Kawhi Leonard's name. Therefore, he is not on Kobe, MJ, LeBron, Kevin Durant's level just yet. And one more thing I want to say. Kawhi Leonard didn't become a consistent scorer until 2015. And that first Finals MVP that he won, he wasn't even the best player on that team. He won NBA Finals MVP because he guarded the best player in the league at that time.
And he was the leading scorer.
Hold on, I'm almost done. He only got MVP because he guarded the opposing team's best player. And at that time, LeBron James was the best player in the league. It was kind of the same similar situation as to what happened in 2015. Remember when Andre Iguodala won NBA MVP? Iggy wasn't the best player on that Warriors team. It was Steph Curry.
I disagree.
But they gave Iggy was the best player on that Warriors team.
No, I'm just saying I disagree. You're trying to compare a Kawhi Leonard situation towards Andre Iguodala. I disagree.
No, I'm saying I'm comparing the NBA Finals MVP awards. The reason why Kawhi Leonard got NBA Finals MVP in the 2014 NBA Finals was because he guarded LeBron James. The reason why Andre Iguodala got 2015 NBA Finals MVP was because he guarded LeBron James. What I'm saying is he wasn't even the best player on his team when he won the Finals MVP in the 2014 season.
I disagree, bro.
That was still Tim Duncan's team.
Tim Duncan averaged 12 points in that playoff, man.
That's what Kawhi averaged. That's what Kawhi averaged in that finals.
Kawhi was the leading scorer in that finals against LeBron James. What he brought to that table, he was working on his offensive game, and he had some clutch stops in that game. Like, I don't understand why you trying to bypass that, because he had a great performance in the playoffs and against LeBron James. Yes, I'm gonna consider Tim Duncan and Tony Parker. That was his supporting cast because Kawhi Leonard was leading the pack. He was leading the pack, man.
So at that time, when he won NBA Finals MVP back in 2014 with the Spurs, when they beat the Miami Heat, at that time, Kawhi Leonard was a star?
Oh, he was an upcoming star, like Pascal Siakam. He was a star that was coming up, and he built off of that moment. I'll tell you that. I'll let you know about. I'll tell you that though.
I would say I wouldn't say he was a star yet. I think he was a contributor on a championship team at that point. He was a great contributor. He was a great contributor, but I wouldn't say he was a
so you telling
star
me after, so okay, let's talk about after that Finals MVP. What happened afterwards? He started going. He started what? Defensive Player of the Year, All-Star appearances. He was dominating. Then he ended up getting traded to Toronto and brought them a title, their first one in franchise history. I'm telling you, man, this guy was a rising star coming up. LeBron James said his peers said that. His peers, they knew what type of player he was. Like you said, one of the best two-way players in the league. This guy was a rising star.
But my thing is, he just got great offensively, like in 2015, 2016. In the first few years of his career, he wasn't very good offensively, Clarence. Like Kevin Durant, he came into the NBA averaging 20. Kevin Durant in his career has never averaged less than 20 points per game.
You're comparing a elite scorer to a two-way player. Well, when he came into the league, he was a defensive player, and that was still working on his offensive game. The Spurs knew his game was going to get better. He just had to grow the confidence into his game. For Kevin Durant, let's be honest, man. He was at Texas, dominating, averaged 25 points each game for the Longhorns. Everybody knew he was a scoring machine. He was something different. They never seen nothing like that from Kevin Durant. Let's clear all that up in the air, Trey, man. For Kawhi Leonard, for Kawhi Leonard, he had to work his butt off. He had to build his offensive game.
I'm not taking that from him. But okay, so if he win the NBA championship and he's the Finals MVP, will he be top 5 all time? Are you ready to go there?
In the league, in the current league, yep.
No, not on the league. All time. Will he be top 5 all time?
Top 10.
What? You would take him? Wait, would you take him above Kobe?
I'm gonna say this. He gonna switch spots with Kevin Durant. Where would Kevin Durant rank?
Would you take him above Kobe?
No, I'm not taking him above Kobe.
Okay. Whew, thank God. Oh my goodness. I would have fell out my chair if you just said. Okay. So would you take him above Tim Duncan?
Nah.
Okay. Kareem?
Nah.
No. LeBron? Hell no. MJ? Hell no.
Who else?
Right.
Who else?
Shaq? No. Not yet. Not yet. I'm not ready to go. Would you take him above Shaq or no?
Who was the next player? It all depends.
I'm just naming some players. I'm just naming off top. What about
Okay.
Will?
Yeah.
What? Okay. Look. I don't even think. Look, maybe he'll start creeping into that top 20.
Well, he
NBA
had more success than Wilt in the finals. He had more success than Wilt Chamberlain.
Maybe he'll start creeping into that top 20 NBA all-time greats, but I'm not ready to go so far as to say he'll be top 10 if he adds another.
If he win another NBA Finals, he's gonna be better than Kevin Durant. He's gonna be over Kevin Durant.
No, nope.
Regardless.
So since you go in there, let's talk about that, because the next question was, would another championship solidify Kawhi being the best player in the NBA today?
I believe so. I believe if they win the championship this year, we're gonna start talking about he's one of the best players in the NBA right now. He's gonna be better than Kevin Durant. He's gonna be LeBron James' biggest threat, and he's literally gonna be a legit top 5 player, top 2 player in the NBA. Like he's definitely gonna be that. Everybody,
he already a top 5 player.
Yeah, I mean like top 2. Like he already is a top 2 in my opinion. Him and LeBron, them the 2, and Giannis is right behind them.
Yeah, nah, I think KD better than Giannis and Kawhi, honestly, if he's healthy. See,
Yeah,
I would say if he wins another championship, I actually agree. It would solidify him as being the best player in the NBA, but only for this reason, because Kevin Durant is injured. I got to see what Kevin Durant going to do next year when he returns to the lineup for the Brooklyn Nets, because I believe in Kevin Durant. And I think if Kevin Durant is healthy and balling out, I'm picking KD over Kawhi. I'm picking KD over Giannis. I'm picking KD over LeBron James. I think if Kevin Durant is healthy, I think Kevin Durant is the best player in the NBA. But because it'll be by default, because Kevin Durant is currently injured, I think Kawhi would be the best player in the NBA, because most likely if he wins a championship, he beat LeBron James en route to the championship. And if the Bucks beat the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, more than likely Kawhi would beat Giannis in the finals. You see what I'm saying? So he already beat there. He beat everybody.
Okay. Before we move on. Okay. No, we're going. Matter of fact, let's move on. We got a few more minutes. And you heard today that Mike Tyson and Roy Jones are set to fight September 12th in California. Now tell me real quick, who you rooting for in that 8-round bout?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be excited to watch it. I'm gonna be excited to watch it, and it's gonna be interesting to watch. I want to see what Mike Tyson got left in the tank. I want to see what he got left. I want to see what he got left. I want to see what Roy Jones has. I'm gonna have to really, really look more into it. but I'm excited to watch it. And I think it's gonna be box office. It's gonna be something that we're gonna watch. We'll watch it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I think Mike Tyson, if he's still boxing like that, the same, man. Because you seen like videos in the past how he was just swinging. I'm like, man, this guy still got it, man. So it's gonna be very like entertaining. But Mike Tyson, if he still got it, man, that's really scary, man. And I think Roy Jones, you better throw that towel in.
Everybody remember going follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H, also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram with these guys in those courts. Mr. Nix, you got any big plans this weekend, brother?
And I'm working out, man, and I'm going to a birthday party, and I'm chilling with the family. What about you?
I'm gonna fall back, man, and probably get me something nice to eat tomorrow, and just maybe chill out, maybe bust me out about 100 push-ups, man. I need to start getting my arms and my shoulders together, man. And I want everybody. I don't know if everybody can see this, but I want everybody to see this notebook, man. We got these Wise Guys notebooks, man. I gotta get you yours. So I don't know if everybody can see this, but we got to get off of here. If not, I sell these notebooks to everybody next week. We got to get off of here. Remember, we live on the Worldwide Sports Network. Everybody have a great weekend. Stay warm, or stay cool, rather. See you Monday.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.